Hello, my name is Rachel McClellan, and I'm excited to be doing this interview as I learned more about what you are doing in the schools across North Carolina. I got really excited, and a little energy just kind of stirred up in my body as I read about what you're doing for our kids and the impact that this is going to make directly, like for my community that I'm living in Stanley County, but then also across North Carolina. A little bit about my background. I was an ESL teacher in high poverty schools in Charlotte, Mecklenburg schools. Worked with teachers in the whole classroom, working on strategies, literacy strategies, as well as second language strategies for them to implement. And then I pulled out students into a small group setting and worked with them. Then I moved into the central office. I was a resource teacher, curriculum resource teacher. So I worked with all the elementary ESL teachers and then started working with the upper grades as well, ESL teachers. But with that, I did a lot of coaching. We'd go out into schools and work with teachers about best practices, and implemented a new teacher program. So worked a lot with teachers, both with pulling out students as well as pushing into the classroom. So I'm very familiar with one-on-one situations as well as small group settings and literacy goals. And I left the curriculum resource teacher position, which I loved, to raise my family. So I left when I had my second child. I now have 3 kids and have been home with them. So I've directly seen the impacts of COVID and their learning. And all 3 of my kids had very different learning experiences this year, both in the classroom and at home. So as I was at home and watching my kids and what they were doing, it just I kind of wanted to be involved and wanted to work with students, because I see how hard it is on the teachers and how hard they're working behind the scenes every day, but then especially as COVID has hit. And I kind of just wondered, what about these kids that are at home and don't have a teacher to help them out daily? Since leaving, though, I have stayed abreast with education as a trainer, professional development with Benchmark Education. Previously to that, I did some for National Geographic as well. So I'm very in on what's going on, but always eager to learn more about the science of reading and all the work that's being done, and it's extremely exciting. So with that, this tutoring position would definitely fit my short-term goals of getting back in to education, which I absolutely love. It's a calling of mine. My youngest will be going into first grade, so hopefully we'll have 3 kids full-time in school. And then long-term, I hope it leads to just more coaching of teachers, because I really love working with teachers and that side of things, and coaching them with working with students. And just finding that passion there. So I kind of giggled when I read the question about difficulty working with a colleague, because immediately I started thinking of those situations. But when you said a student, and this one kid of mine just really popped into my brain, it was really hard, and a lot of the teachers had a tough time. They bounced him all the time. That's what we called it, when they needed a break from the classroom. And really what it took was, and I had difficulty, personality clashes, but it really took just getting to know the kid, getting to know what made him tick. And once we started making that connection, it was able, a little here, and really just diving down and getting to know those kids, and just building up that background knowledge to then be able to teach them. So with that, time is clicking quick, so I'm going to go ahead and get to the read aloud. Today we are reading The Rainbow Fish, and I love, love, love this book. So with that, before we even get started, have any of you looked in a fish tank? Have you ever seen fish, all the pretty colors they are? What colors? Okay, so sometimes we have red fish and orange fish. Sometimes we'll see really neat aquariums. Sometimes people have them in our house. We have one in our house. And then sometimes we'll see them, though, at a restaurant. I've seen big aquariums of fish, and then maybe even been to an aquarium and seen those really pretty fish. The other thing I think of is how many of you have seen Nemo, right? Finding Nemo. What color is Nemo? He's orange, right? Some of his friends, what color are they? Blue, right? Dory's blue and yellow. Okay, so today we're going to read a book about a fish and pretty colors. So a long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. See the picture? All right. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. Come on, Rainbow Fish, they would call. Come and play with us. But the Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. We're going to stop right there. Shimmer. What comes to your mind when you think of shimmer? Okay, sparkly, that's good. Like sparkly earrings, right? I have some sparkly earrings or some sparkly jewelry. Tinfoil. Tinfoil's a really good one, right? So that all shimmers. So can you imagine a fish that has scales that shimmer? I think I'd want shimmery ones. Would you want shimmery ones? Awesome. Now, I want you to think really quick. We're going to stop right here. And we're going to think about using shimmer in a sentence. So I'll start, and then I want you to think of one. Okay. I was at the lake, and the sun made the water shimmer. Okay, now I want you to turn and talk to your neighbor and tell them your sentence about something that shimmers. All right, I'm going to stop right there. Please let me know if you have any further questions.